Good evening, everybody. Today, it's my proud privilege to interview Professor R.V. Jayakumar, sir, who is one of the senior most endocrinologists in whole country, and he is the teacher of many of the endocrinologists all over India, and he's a brilliant academician and was a past president of Endocrine Society of India. Today, on this particular New Year Eve, I like to ask sir one important question. What's the interesting thing happened during your presidential tenure? Please enlighten us, sir.
Yes, thank you very much for that introduction. I don't deserve all these things. I am one of the endocrinologists which is surviving in India at present. That is all. Now, I happen to become the president in early 2002 or exact. I'm not very sure. 2002 or 3, I think. And at that time, if you want me to say what I have done as president, the president post is for 1 year. If you can't do, the limited time you have to do something. What I started was to start this consensus statement. See, at that time in early 2000, there is not many. There was only consensus by ADA and American Endocrine Society and all those things. Our Indian Endocrine Society, there was nothing going on. So I initiated the initiative of starting consensus for managing thyroid, hypothyroidism, thyroidosis, and Cushing syndrome. And I think hypercalcemia part also, this one. And it was started, and a few issues were released at that time. Booklets of the consensus seminar was released. And this program was continued by the next president was Dr. Padma Menon from Mumbai. She continued this, and she came out with more consensus statement. The other thing which I can remember what is that it was I started the midterm endocrine society meetings. So at that time in 2003 or so, I think the first midterm endocrine society meeting was held in Nagpur. It was a big success when the usual crowd of more than 300 plus were there, because there were 5 young energetic endocrinologists in Nagpur at that time. And they hosted this the midterm meeting, which was almost same as the annual meetings capacity in the audience and the academic feast. So these are the two things I can remember, which has happened during my presidential time as in SICON.
That's really inspiring, sir. Next question to you, sir. What's the message to young generation endocrinologists from a very experienced senior consultant endocrinologist, Professor R.V. Jayakumar, sir? Please let us know, sir.
See, there is a lot of difference between the new and the new ultraman super intelligent endocrinologists of present era compared with the old one, because we have been trained in endocrinology in the clinical sense most probably. Even the ultrasound was not available at that time when we did DM examination. When we were trained for DM, there was no ultrasound, there was no CT scan. So you can imagine how much of clinical activity we were forced to do, because we cannot confirm it. Even at that time, when I was doing DM in 76, 77, the only place in India where we can get a T3, T4, THS, radio-MNA is available only in Chandigarh. And at that time, there was no courier service. If you want to do, somebody has to travel all the way to Chandigarh to give a sample of blood to do it, which it is. So it is more of a clinical diagnosis at that time which was going on. And so we trained, and the present day is entirely different. The patient walk into your room with a T3, T4 test, and it is your headache to sort it out. What is going on? So the hell of a difference it is there. But I think still we must, when a patient, only my advice to the young endocrinologists is that put more time on clinical evaluation and clinical sense, and confirm your clinical diagnosis with your investigation, rather than start from the investigation and go the other way around. Because the thrill of see, somebody sent you a case of Cushing syndrome and you manage it, okay. But picking a case of Cushing syndrome from a patient who is wandering around from physician to physician, there lies the thrill of endocrinology. You pick up a case of acromegaly or Cushing syndrome or a hypothyroidism from nobody was diagnosing it. So I think my advice to the young endocrinologists is that put more time to make that type of clinical evaluation, judgment, so that you get more of academic satisfaction of making a diagnosis which many people are unable to do it. And then you confirm that diagnosis with available investigation nowadays. So it is more, I will say that endocrinology is a glorified DM in internal medicine, because internal medicine, all these patients go this. It's a glorified DM of medicine is endocrinology. And so my advice to the young budding generation is, well, put more time on the clinical evaluation and confirm your clinical diagnosis with the investigation rather than go from investigation and make the case.
Okay, sir. That's truly words of wisdom from you. Probably you have seen it all the development of endocrinology over the last few decades, and it's really a privilege to speak to you on this occasion on behalf of ESI. I'd like to thank you once more, sir, and a happy new year to you. And I also like to take a final comment from you before concluding this session. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, and wish all the endocrinologists of the country a happy 2021, most probably a COVID-free or COVID free from COVID new 2021. Thank you.